This is 2023's The Mother. Warning, spoilers ahead. Just to get this out of the way now, J-Lo's character is actually credited as the mother. There is no name for her. At an FBI safe house in Indiana, FBI agents are conducting an interview with an informant, and she identifies arms dealers in the picture shown to her. Cruz needs to know exactly what kind of business they're trying to run, but Mother says this place isn't secure enough to talk to them about any of this. Cruz and his partner assure her that this safe house is secure enough, but Mother wants a protection deal. Just like that, Mother is proven right as someone takes out most of the agents by firing from outside the safe house. Cruz and Mother are the only ones left alive, and they both sneak upstairs. Just then, Cruz is shot, and Mother drags him to a safer spot to tend to his wounds. She uses super glue to seal his bullet wound, and this is definitely one of those moments where they say, if it looks stupid but it works, it isn't stupid. After tending to Cruz, Mother grabs some household supplies to create a bomb, and she gets cornered by Adrian in the bathtub. She manages to get him in his hand, but he attacks the baby in her belly at the same time. She looks like she's about 9 months pregnant. She definitely hasn't been moving around like that this whole time. Just then, the homemade distraction goes off and Adrian is gone. Mother is rushed to the hospital and she's operated on immediately. Her baby survives, and after the C-section, Special Agent Williams arrives to talk to Mother. Williams tells her that she has no room for negotiation, and she tells her that Adrian was extracted from the fire before FBI agents could show up. Then she mentions that the daughter is going to be put into the system to keep her safe from the men hurting Mother. This is one hell of a way to come out of an operation, though. Don't throw me a parental rights termination form before I get to see my baby. Mother tosses the paper to the side, and she goes to check on Cruz in another room. She tells him to make sure her daughter is kept safe with a normal, boring life. She wants an update each birthday, and she wants to know the second that there's trouble. Cruz tells her that he owes her that much at least, and she goes to say goodbye to her daughter. Mother ends up going to Alaska, and she meets with John, who seems to know her from the past. He tells her that she'll need to get a job, and she tells him that she doesn't want to have a job where she has to shoot anything anymore. He takes her to an abandoned cabin, and she thanks him for helping her get set up. He tries to tell her that she can come back from whatever has happened to her, but Mother assures him that this is way too bad for that. We jump ahead 12 years, and Mother hasn't aged a day. I know certain people age better than others, but she looks exactly the same as she did 12 years ago. Mother hunts the elk in the nearby forest, and when she gets back to the cabin, John gives her a letter from Cruz. E thinks that it's just another birthday, but Mother knows better. Something is wrong, and she makes her way to Ohio, and she's locked and loaded. Cruz picks her up from the airport, and he tells her about how Alvarez was busted and they found her daughter's picture on his men. Mother goes to see Zoe get picked up from school, and she kind of stalks her for a moment after that. I get it. She's been away for her whole life, and she didn't originally want to leave her, but if Zoe spots her or runs into her, it's going to be the most awkward family reunion imaginable. It'd be even more awkward if she spotted Mother spying on her from the parking garage with a zoom lens. Just then, Alvarez's men show up in the park that Zoe is hanging out in, and they get ready to take her. Mother isn't about that plan, though, and she takes out some of the men trying to take her. Zoe's adopted mother barely survives, and they end up taking Zoe away. The bad guys spread out around the parking garage, and Mother breaks into an old truck. Is it that easy to break into the bottom of those old things? I'll definitely be more careful about running over branches now. Once Mother gets out of the parking garage, Cruz picks her up, and he speeds her away. She knows that there won't be any ransom calls because they just want her, but she tells Cruz that she plans to disappear again after she kills everyone involved with the kidnapping. That night, Cruz and Mother head to Zoe's house to wait for some information, and she ventures into Zoe's room to get a glimpse at what her daughter is like now. In the end, Cruz and Mother get ready to head to Cuba to plan their next step. Once in Cuba, Mother gets to work chasing these guys down, and she's very good at her job. Within seconds of their first encounter, Cruz gets stabbed though, and I don't think I have much confidence in his skills right now. Also, if you want to watch the most boring chase scene you've ever seen, this is definitely that moment. You can tell that they're running about as quickly as they can, but wow. It was funny watching Mother crash into the car, though. She eventually gets Tarantula by running him over, and they take him away to interrogate him. Eventually, he tells her where Zoe is being held, and she knows that she's walking into a trap. She doesn't care, though. Also, the coolest thing so far is Tarantula's accidental death. Probably can't show it to you guys, but it's the only thing that made me gasp so far. That night, Mother and Cruz take care of each other, and Mother explains why she saved him 12 years ago in the safe house. When he asks her how she got involved with Adrian and Alvarez, she explains that Adrian was the instructor of her unit in the military. He picked her out for special assignments, but those assignments weren't legal. Mother was actually the one who spotted Alvarez, and she put him and Adrian together. By the time she got pregnant, she noticed that Alvarez and Adrian were hiding something about their deal from her. She found out that they weren't just trafficking weapons, but children as well. That's when she called Cruz and his department about snitching, but we all know how that went. After a pleasant conversation, the two head out for the plantation, and they take out as many guards as they can. Eventually, Mother finds Zoe locked away in a room, and she escorts her to Cruz outside. Cruz is ready to go, but Mother wants to go finish business. Sure enough, Alvarez is waiting for her. Shocking! Alvarez tells Mother about this dream he has where he gets revenge on her, and he prepares to live out his fantasy with her. She manages to get the best of him, and she finishes him off before he can even get anywhere with her. The next day, Mother, Cruz, and Zoe make their way to Illinois, and Zoe seems intrigued by Mother. She's so intrigued that she spends her whole time figuring out ways to find her biological parents? Only Zoe would take one look at Jennifer Lopez and think that she could be her daughter. As they travel, Mother notices the bond that Cruz and Zoe have, and she tries to find a way to connect with her herself. She buys her a little snow globe at a gas station, but she doesn't give it to her just yet. In an awkward conversation, Mother assures Zoe that counseling will help her through everything, and she gets ready to leave them there. That is, until Zoe asks if she's her mother. She tells Zoe that she isn't, and she tries to walk away until Cruz stops her. He gives her a cell phone to keep in touch, and he lets her walk away again. Zoe asks Cruz why Mother won't just admit that she's her mother, but Cruz doesn't want to answer that kind of question. Can you blame him? I feel like this kind of conversation is a little more than a general FBI agent is trained for. Surprise, surprise, they don't make it. The bad guys take Cruz away, and Adrian comes face to face with Zoe. That dude was burnt to a crisp in the beginning. His recovery is remarkable. Sure enough, Mother arrives just in time, and Cruz wakes up just in time to die. Mother manages to cause a distraction by blowing up one of the cars, and she rides off with Zoe before the police arrive. Mother takes Zoe to a local diner to grab a bite to eat, and she makes it clear that she can't just drop Zoe off with her adopted family right now. Zoe keeps asking questions about her situation, but Mother doesn't think that she needs any of these answers. Mother sends Zoe to use the bathroom before they run off, and she calls Zoe's adopted mother to tell her that Zoe can't come back just yet. Mother assures her that she'll get her back before her birthday in October, and her and Zoe drive off. I mean, are you really gonna argue with the scary woman who took out half the cartel in the dark? I don't think so. They make their way back to Alaska, and they stop at John's store to gather supplies and ammo. When they leave, Zoe thinks that she's figured out a little bit of Mother's history as a dangerous spy, and she's pretty close actually. They wind up back at the cabin, and Zoe takes a look around at Mother's place. Mother takes her hunting, and after seeing her shoot a stag, she decides to become a vegetarian. Zoe repeats her desire to go home, but Mother keeps pointing out that that's just not an option right now. The nighttime is hard for Zoe, but in the morning, Mother calls her outside to spend some quality time driving. I don't think that teaching Zoe to drive is a big deal right now. With everyone coming after them, I think she should be teaching her to shoot, if anything. Mother assures her that her hatred for her is something that they can use to fuel her desire to survive. And sure enough, they start combat training in the snow. Zoe takes a break to play with some nearby wolf pups, and Mother has to fire salt shells at the mother wolf to save her. Where did the salt shells come from? When they get back to the cabin, Zoe pulls a weapon on Mother, and I think that this is the stupidest idea she's had this entire time. Mother handles the situation with her cold demeanor, and when Zoe asks why she won't just admit to who she is, Mother tells her that the fact that she's there to get her through this should be enough of an answer. The next day, everything goes back to normal, and Mother gets Zoe a knife as a present. She's an assassin! Anyone who's played Assassin's Creed knows that this is the hidden blade. Has anyone checked to see if she still has her ring finger? Zoe is scared of everything Mother is teaching her and telling her, but she's grateful because she still knows who's out there. Eventually, they come across the wolf and her pups, but the mother is wounded. Zoe thinks that they should help her since the pups aren't old enough to take care of themselves, but Mother says that this is when they'll learn to do that. That night, Mother gets sentimental as she watches Zoe sleep, and she travels back to where the wolf's den is to take care of the mother. In the morning, Mother rushes out to find Zoe playing with the wolf pups, but when one of them plays a little too rough, Mother rushes her to the nearby clinic. Zoe messes up though, and she tells the doctor her real name. Now, Mother goes on high alert, and she goes to John's to tell him that he has to take her away now. Zoe is so mad at herself, but she understands why Mother is doing what she's doing. Mother gives Johns a letter to give Zoe when it's all over, and she leaves her there to her fate. That night, a platoon shows up off the ferry, and Johns gives Mother a warning. Zoe asks how they know each other, and after Johns tells her that they served together, he makes sure that she knows that Mother is doing all of this to keep Zoe safe. I don't think that's news to her. She's watched a whole little mini war happen in front of her eyes, and she's been training like John Connor training for Judgment Day. Zoe finds the pictures that Mother has kept from Cruz's letters on her birthday, and she reads a letter that Mother left for her. It explains that everything she ever did was just to protect her, and Zoe comes to terms with the reasons that Mother did everything that she did. Later that day, Adrian and his men surround the cabin, and he reminds his men that he's the one that's going to kill Mother. Not if she pulls out fire! I feel like Adrian should be permanently terrified of fire after getting burnt to a crisp, though. Mother has the woods mined, and the bad guys decide to be a little more cautious. What they don't know is that Zoe is speeding back to them in a stolen truck. Adrian sends a mine zooming into the cabin as if Mother is still inside, but they don't find her remains. In fact, she's infiltrated their ranks, and now they all have caught wind of Zoe approaching in the stolen truck. Zoe wrecks the truck, and she tries to get away on foot. She does try out her Assassin's Creed blade, though. Points for trying that takedown. Mother manages to catch up to them, and she takes her from the bad guy who snatched her. They make their way to a hunting blind, and they work together quite well until Adrian gets the upper hand. He coaxes Mother from her safety, and she meets him out in the open where she disarms herself. The two of them engage in hand-to-hand combat, and Zoe prepares to take a very crucial shot. See? Bad guy's biggest mistake. He had the upper hand. He could have just shot her and been done with it. You don't need this big ego trip. Adrian knows that Zoe is trying to get a clear shot, and he tells Mother to give her the signal. What he didn't expect was for Zoe to be hidden in a new spot, and she actually takes the shot. Mother and Adrian fall down the hill, and Zoe is worried that she took out the wrong person. As she tries to get to her, Adrian snatches her, and when Mother wakes up, she realizes that Zoe only used salt rounds on them. After gathering her senses, she fires a shot at Adrian's car as he drives off with Zoe, but it takes a second shot to bring Adrian down. Zoe pushes his body out of the car and runs for Mother in the snow. They embrace each other, and in time, Mother takes Zoe back to her adopted family. When Zoe tells Mother that she loves her, it fills her heart with happiness, and Zoe goes to have a reunion with her other mother. I want to say that this is a feel-good ending movie, but there's still 10 minutes left. What's left to explore? Oh, never mind. There are 12 minutes of credits. Wow, this is some Lord of the Rings level credits. As for the film, it was solid, but don't expect high-octane action. Still worth a watch if you're looking for something. Give it a shot. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.